to a standard. And that's one of the things that we talk about, the standard. What is the standard at Katy High School? The expectation from the time I go visit with the junior high kids and talk to them, the time they get out of senior, they can tell you what the number one expectation is. And the number one expectation at Katy High School is for them to do their best. And I'm not talking just on the football field. I'm talking about in the classroom. I'm talking about at home. You can't be something away from Katy and away from the program. You go on those, weekends and stuff, and I want to go out and party with my friends. Well, you can't be different than what you are today. It's about a genuineness. It's about the truth. So we talk to our kids about that. And then we sit there and spell it out for them. The truth starts with T. The T in truth is trust. And to expect with assurance, to assume, to have faith. Faith is a big thing. And faith is a big thing for us. They have to believe. And right now, we're 0-2. The last time we were 0-2 at Katy High School was 2008. And the only great thing about it is we turned around that year and won a state championship. So, my point to that is the kids, they shouldn't give up just because they're 0-2. They have to learn how to fight. They're going to face adversity in their life. We talk about, people can sit there and say, well, Coach, you've had injuries, you've had 3 years. It doesn't matter. It's a program. It's about a team. And you have to have other kids step up in this thing. And they will. Right now, they're in the process of growing up. Some of them haven't ever had to be the man before. Some of them hadn't ever had their responsibility put on them. And so they have to learn how to sit there and fight with their teammates. And their teammates have to pick them up. They have to make sure that they understand each and every day that the best is expected from them, just like they expect it from him. A reliance. They have to be able to rely on each other. That goes back to people that watch us. We don't coach, like a lot of people. We give everybody a foundation. We give everybody a job. And if somebody doesn't do their job, there's going to be a breakdown. Defensively, it happens like that. Offensively, the same thing. All our 5 offensive linemen have to work together. If they don't, there's going to be some problems. But anyway, they have to have faith to do that. They have to have a line. They have to have a place of confidence. People, they have to learn how to have confidence in each other, to trust each other, to show people and to sit there and we talk to them about, you have to be able to rely on each other. It's trust. If you can't trust your teammate to be doing the right thing every day, then obviously we're not going to be successful. But that's not just on the football field. That's as a program. When people see our kids, they have to be able to trust each other. And so that's one of the foundations of our program. The second one is respect. Because respect, show high regard. You say, well, what do you mean by respect? To show consideration. To sit there and we talk to them about respecting women. They have to respect each other. They have to respect the process. Playing football is a process. It's a weekly growth. It's a daily growth. And they have to respect themselves for doing that. The ones that do it, they get better. You usually find the ones that don't are the ones that end up pushing themselves by the wayside. They have to show consideration for each other. An attitude of consideration, a high regard, a high opinion, or admiration. You have to respect. I talk to them about, respect deal, respecting women. I talk about respecting adults, respecting the work they put in, respecting the work their teammates put in. Understand that this is a very, very important thing, that see their teammates working next to them. Respect their parents, and in this day and age, that's not always the case. I have parents call me and ask me if I would help them. Sure, we'll help them. There are certain ways to motivate them and things. I don't know. But anyway, that's okay. That's part of being an educator. Just sitting there helping our kids. Then the next thing in truth is, is trust and respect and being unselfish. And I think that's the thing that probably separates Katy from everybody else. Is our kids are very unselfish. There are a lot of kids that get up and come to work out. They have a thing in Texas now called the wet bowl. Our practices start at 5 a.m. in the morning sharp. We're starting, and so that means for the kids to get there, some of them are having to get up at 4 o'clock. The only bad thing about it is most of them don't eat breakfast. And that's one of the things that I am on them all the time about. You run out of the house and you sleep and not eat and stuff. Then you try to go through a half a day in school before you give them lunch, and it makes it very, very tough on our kids. But that's part of it, and they understand that. We try to tell them, eat instant oatmeal, just put something on your stomach, you have to sit there and do it. And then you ask them how many did, and it's not a handful. And so, we've gotten instant oatmeal, we give them up there, and they come get it if they haven't had anything. Some of them get over to the cafeteria, but our practices go from 5 to about 6:45 and stuff. They're expected to be there, and 99% of them show up on time, and that's a great thing. I don't think you can sit there and say 99% of the adults in the room will show up for a 5 o'clock practice on time. But anyway, it is part of it. That's part of it, holding them accountable, holding each other accountable. But the good, unselfish is putting the goods of others in front of your own interest. Self-sacrificing, motivated by no concern for oneself but by the other. The unselfish thing is like I was saying, all our defensive kids aren't going to lead the league in tackles. But they're going to do their job and make it up where the other kids and their other teammates are going to make tackles. That's the sacrifice they make. That's where we have to sit there and work together as a team. It's just like, people being brought together as a team. There's some part in the ocean, like I said, some part of many rivers. It's the little things that kids do. It's the little things that we demand from our kids that are going to make the difference for us. I still feel like, like I said, even being 0-2, I still feel like our kids have a chance to be champions. The goal every year is to be a district champion. And that goal is still in front of us. The next thing, and the truth, is tradition. And all of you know about the tradition of Katy High School. Not just the winning of the state championship, but the way that people get along with each other. We have great kids. It's one of those schools that you could go into and all the kids are sitting there and they're there for each other. It's not just a separation, it's not just a name. Katy is, the people talk about it, Katy is a brand. Tradition that passes down of elements of a culture from generation to generation, especially by oral communication. You show up for the ball games. That's awesome to watch people come to Katy games and stuff. But they're there to support the kids. They're there because they want to support the kids, they want to support Katy High School. And that's what makes it special at our place, is we do have traditions. Not just the tradition of winning, but traditions of being there for each other. And the last thing, and the truth, is heart. And heart is basically how hard our kids are going to play. What they're going to do to sacrifice each other. What they're going to do to sit there and become the best that they can be. And that's what, the truth is being trustworthy, having respect, being unselfish, having tradition, and having heart. Playing hard. Being there each and every day. Like I said, being at practice each and every day. Putting forth the effort each and every day. Pulling for their teammates each and every day. Worrying about we and not me. All the things that we're fighting against in the world today. Like I said, from college football, on down. I know that everybody's talked about, and for those of you that don't know, they're talking about the NIL stuff. I'm dead set against it because that goes adverse to everything we preach. We preach team, we preach it's not about stats, and we preach all this stuff in order for us to win together. When you start, singling out individuals and saying that they're more important than this, then you have no team. You have a group of individuals. That's why right now I feel like there's no loyalty in college football. It used to be great to be a graduate of the University of Texas. Now, the University of Texas is paying over $21 million to all their athletes and their football players and stuff. They're not playing for the university, they're playing for the mighty dollar. And that's what we're sitting there trying to go, and that's what they're going against right now. They're going against us as we preach that to kids, but that's okay. But anyway, that's what, our foundation is the truth. Like I said, I appreciate y'all being here. I can stand up here, talk to a lot